I like
action. Bienvenidos a Cafecito Conversations.
Welcome, bienvenidos.
Are you ready for this, Lulu? Are you ready for this?
I'm always ready.
But Lulu, how do you like your coffee?
Oh, I like my coffee. I like my coffee. It's like cappuccino, but it's like an in-between. It's like this kind of like half and half. Half of milk, half of coffee with obviously honey, okay? I have to have honey. And then I sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon on top of it. My God, delicious.
So coffee, milk, cinnamon, and honey.
Yes, but it has to be like espresso.
I've never heard of that before. That sounds amazing.
It's so good. It's so
It's
good.
like having coffee with condensed milk. Have you guys ever had coffee with condensed milk? My God, it's to die for.
It's so
By the
much
way,
sugar.
that's a hurricane season hack. Whenever you run out of electricity and the milk goes bad and you're looking for pantry items, condensed milk and coffee, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Qué
yeah.
rico, qué rico.
Yeah.
No, my favorite coffee is just a simple cappuccino. No sugar, nothing. Just hot milk with a lot of foam and espresso in it. Also like 50-50 portions, and that's it. That's my perfect cup of coffee. But I don't get to have that on weekdays. I can't drink coffee at least not on week mornings, because I have to work out first. If I drink coffee before I work out, then it's no good.
What do you mean? What happened? What's going on? What do you mean? You can't have coffee during the weekday.
It makes me want to pee. So I have my coffee after I work out. And then on weekends, that's my husband's jam. So he wakes me up with my perfect little cappuccino from our espresso machine. So I get to indulge on weekends without breakfast or anything. I just wake up and have my cappuccino. I'll prepare brunch for later that day, and it's amazing.
I don't know. My weekends are so different every weekend. We don't have anything like structure like you do. Like everything I do.
Of course you do. You have
No.
like 20 baseball games.
Well, that's something that is already in the schedule, but like we don't have like this thing like tradition stuff that we do like every day, because one, I like getting up out of bed on a different side of the bed, or like in a different way, or I don't pick up the same things, or I don't brush my teeth first. I might do something else before I brush my teeth. Like I just can't do the same thing every day because I get bored.
We never do the same thing every day except having my cappuccino.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's something different, because I started, once I hit my 40s, I started drinking coffee like every day. And then lately, after a few years, I stopped doing that. I stopped drinking coffee in the mornings. And I've noticed that when I only do it when it's like with people, I like it better than drinking it by myself.
Yeah, that's why I need to have my coffee in peace and silence or with a friend. That's why I'd rather not drink it
Right.
on weekdays.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll use my energy. Well, there's no time to not have energy. Regardless, if you have a break to sit down, you have to stand back up again. Either cook or go to an appointment or a meeting, or sit down, write a script, have an excuse to have some coffee while you work, which is great.
I need water to write or to think or to, to do this thing. But I love coffee with people. I feel like that's like what brings us together. I remember living in the Dominican Republic, and wherever you go, you will have a cafecito. And it will be just like a shot of espresso, like that you will pour from wherever you are at. Like if you go to a bank, there's like going to be a station for you to get little coffee. Like, and they will have like this tiny little shots of coffee for you to drink.
What do you call them in Dominican Republic? We call them pocillos.
No, we call
In
them
Puerto Rico.
cafecitos.
Pocillito. ¿Me das un pocillito?
No, vasito. a little cup, a little cup, yeah. Un vasito, a little glass, a little cup. But yeah, we will have it every time. And so this was my routine of coffee growing up. I had coffee since I was 3 years old.
I like my husband. My God, they gave him coffee in a baby bottle.
That was me.
When he got picked up from kindergarten.
That was me. So I will go to sleep, or like in the afternoon, like the nap, or going to sleep. And I will go to sleep with my café con leche, like with a lot of sugar inside my bottle. And then and it had to be like lukewarm. It couldn't be cold because I wouldn't drink it. And then I would drink it with my bottle. Oh my God. Wait for this. Until I was 12 years old, I was still drinking my bottle.
Whose fault is it? Mama's, abuelas, or
Everybody, because the
tia?
minute the dentist told me that I needed to like get rid of the bottle, then I went home and so pissed. I grabbed like a knife and I started cutting my bottle. I was so pissed. I really wanted I stopped drinking coffee with milk.
Wow.
Like until probably when I became like an adult, like started college and started working like in the office. There was a lady that will bring you the coffee. So she will bring you the coffee in the morning. She will bring you your first coffee. You know, it's like a little cafecito. I will bring you one next time I see you, a little cafecito. And then with your sugar, so you can put your sugar in it. And then the same thing will happen at 10 a.m. in the morning. You will get another shot. Wait for this. After your lunch at 1 o'clock, she will come back again with her little cafecito. And wait for this. In the afternoon, between 3 and 4, she will come back again with a little cafecito too, because, like
Yeah.
you needed to
You
recharge,
need
because that's when you're like, I feel like she will give it to us every time we will like go down,
yeah.
like on,
Every time you were tanking.
yeah, every time you were tanking, or there's another word for that, crashing. That's just like when you're crashing, like, so at 4 o'clock. And then after that, I know, I feel like I'm saying, and then, and then, and then, but literally, this is what will happen. At 4 o'clock, you will get one. And then once you leave the place and you go, like, I don't know, college or have dinner with some friends or whatever, after you finish your dinner, you will have a little cafecito again.
God, right up my husband's alley.
Yeah, that was too much, honestly.
That's too much. I have it in the morning. That's it. But for me, cafe is a cup of coffee. For me, is what really ties everybody around the world. And I'll give you 3 examples. I had a friend in college in my sophomore year. So I had a friend from Turkey, and we used to have Turkish coffee on Friday afternoons. And she would after you have your Turkish coffee, which is very thick, you're supposed to turn your cup on a plate, let it dry, and in a half hour, they can read your future with your coffee. It's insane. And I have to say that a few things that she said have come true in my life.
Really?
Yeah, starting with the description of who my husband is right now.
Do you think that's like witchcraft, or like people really have like that like gift of like reading whatever
No,
the
I
coffee
think
tells
it's
you?
designs. It's just a book. They have designs, and depending on the shape of the drops and that kind of thing, that's how they determine.
So it's kind
It's
of like
just
a guessing
pure. It's a
game, and
guessing
like
game.
hit it
It's
if it
It's an
sticks,
icebreaker. It's an
right? Yeah,
icebreaker.
yeah, yeah.
And then when I go to Austria, because my dad is from Austria, the entire family gathers. He has 4 siblings, and my grandparents, who unfortunately passed away last year. They were 100 years old.
Oh wow.
Every time we went to visit there, every year, we would sit down at the table one afternoon. They would bring local Austrian pastries from a very famous bakery, make some coffee on the stove, nothing fancy, just regular black coffee and some milk on the side, whoever wanted, and sugar. And we'd just sit there for hours, just chatting and eating sweets, not thinking about counting calories or any of that, because it's amazing pastries. And I don't eat many pastries because I'm used to not eating sugar. And for me, that connection, that bond that we formed every time we go visit is just something priceless. And then when I go to Puerto Rico to visit my in-laws, the coffee is there always in the pot, ready for anybody who walks in. And you sit down at least almost like 4 to 5 times a day to have coffee. But they'll have coffee ready. And if his extended family walks in, they'll come in with un bollo de pan, o una yarda de pan, o una libra de pan, however you want to call it in Puerto Rico, and just fresh baked bread from the local bakery and butter. Manny's grandma would just prep it, stripe the butter, nothing, not preheated, not toasted, just as is. They would walk around passing coffee and passing fresh bread with butter, and then you just sit there for hours chatting away. And it's a very humble way of drinking coffee and of bonding at the same time. You don't need anything fancy. And it's just, for me, that part of having a cup of coffee is what makes me love coffee and makes me be very picky when I drink coffee, because I want to establish those connections.
That's right. Because, us coming from different part of the world, not growing up in America, in the United States, we have experienced like different type of things, different cultures. Italians, like with their Segafredo stores,
Mhm.
like these are like restaurants that are around the
That's
world.
Lia, Lavazza,
Yeah,
all
you can
those.
find them like anywhere.
Starbucks,
Yeah,
you know,
Starbucks. Yeah,
Starbucks, yeah.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can't deny them. They're
No,
there. They're in
and they're
Europe
really
even.
good, and they're really good. It's something that we come from. Everybody's so close with each other, and the culture is to sit down and drink a cup of coffee, to
Not to
have
go.
a conversation, not like on the go, 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 go kind of
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah. No, I love it. And I think that's why we're sitting down and having these conversations. Because I think it brings us together in any sort of topic, especially, two girls, two ladies in their early 40s
Sorry, go
with
back to
kids,
girl.
adolescentes, cuarenta y poquitos, with crazy lives and, very different lives also at the same time. But there's so much that we can learn from each other. And I know that there's so much that's going on right now in our lives that all of us in the same, no matter what country you're from, if you're from Montana, if you're from Dominican Republic, Argentina, Russia, wherever, something connects us, which is womanhood, motherhood, and life itself, and trying to make it through our daily lives wherever we're standing right now. And there's so much more, especially we're in Florida now, and hurricanes are a thing. If we were in Puerto Rico, we would never have this conversation because we're used to hurricanes. So it's like, well, yeah, hurricane, yes. Yeah, it's coming at some point, somewhere, who cares? We know what to do. Here in the States, it's actually we don't know what, a lot of people are not used to it, and they don't know how to prepare or react. So that's a great conversation to have, how to talk to your children about how to prepare for a hurricane or what to happen in case of an emergency. Or traveling. When you travel, there's so many things. All of us travel no matter what. Nowadays, traveling is inexpensive. Either, on the road, it's expensive now. But on a plane, you can still get some cheaper tickets. And everybody has to travel either to visit family or friends or for work. And so many things happen along the way that only us experience them, and many people don't understand. But maybe sharing our stories and maybe sharing some strategies. I wanted you to sit down with me when we started talking about having a podcast, because you have this philosophy of life that just completely changes the focus that I have, which is just looking straight forward, having a strategy, a plan, and everything written down. You gave me this sense of tranquility of, Kairym, you have to stop and just smell the roses and maybe be thankful of where you're standing right now. Even though it's a bad day, be thankful. And I love what you do, and explain to us, what is it that comes out of your heart that makes you want to be sitting here today in this podcast, in today and the next future episodes, of course.
Like you were talking about, like you hit that level in your life that you go like, I need to find my purpose. And I feel like my purpose, I've been looking for it for the past 3 years. And as time went by, like the first thing was like quitting my job and trying to figure out, because I had a calling. My calling was, you can't be doing this anymore. You have to do something else. And then I started volunteering. Or there's something somebody said that if you haven't found your purpose, start serving. When you serve, meaning like volunteer at anything, like give your time to something that is going to help somebody else, that's when you find your true purpose. At first, I thought it was like, oh, teaching, maybe. So I became a teacher. And in like no time, 3 months, boom, I'm a teacher. That was not it. Well, yeah, I do a great job teaching, but that is not what I wanted to do. Basically, it was like a bigger scale, and I didn't know where to get it, which comes to you because you're like yes, like very century, very strategic and all that stuff. I'm like more of like a perfectionist to the point of like everything needs to be this way. And yes, I'm organized, but I love journaling. And the one thing I realized that I wanted to teach everybody else was how to conquer your dreams, how to live in gratitude. Because once I changed my whole life into, you know what, it's not that I don't need the money. It's more about like, I need to do something to tell the people how you can live this life of being thankful for what you have. And because we complain all the time.
Chronic complainers as human beings, and we forget about being thankful. We just have to be thankful. When God closes a door, somehow he manages to open a window. That is
Right.
so true.
Yeah.
From The Sound of Music.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. Once the door closes, another one open, or you just look at the window, maybe the window will open. Because sometimes we are just focused on the problem.
Or we're just not sticking our head out the window enough
Yeah.
to see what's out there for us.
Yeah. Totally. I'm going to tell you one thing I learned from a very famous financier. He mentioned and he said something along the lines, whenever something happens in your life that it's not joy, it's like it brings you down, you will go like, for example, if your car breaks, you can say, good thing it took me to the place I needed to go to, or good thing that it happened to me at this moment, or good thing that it broke down when when my broke down with me, not when my son or my wife was driving it, or my or or anything that happens in your life. If you repeat three things that could have happened, if that negative thing happened, that will change your whole perspective on how you see life.
I completely agree.
It's kind of like changing your perspective of the problem and looking for other possible solutions that this problem actually cost you.
That's insane. I definitely need to apply that in my life. And that's why we're here, right, ladies?
That's right.
Well, you guys know Cafecito Conversations is coming, podcasting platform that you use in your daily basis. And please make sure to leave your comment, follow us in our social medias. You can find me on From My Kitchen to the World LLC on Instagram and at www.kairymyvonne.com.
Or you can find me, Lulu, at lulus.beehive on Instagram. And eventually we'll come up with more stuff for you to find me.
Yeah, we have plenty to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, we're Latinas. I'm half Austrian, half Venezuelan, raised in Puerto Rico. We got so much to say. And she's been all over the place too.
Yeah. You can't say this is another topic that we should talk about how do you introduce yourself and how do you say where you're from? Because when you come from a lot of places, is very hard for you to communicate to someone. Like sometimes I just choose one country, but anyhow, we can leave that for another day.
Sorry, we can. I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a 15-minute coffee meetup.
No, we will come up with more things to come up with.
But you know what's my go-to question? Because when people ask me where are you from, I know it's coming because either they hear my accent or I'm in a different country and I'm maybe have light eyes and light hair. And I always say, where do you think I'm from? And it's so great to have them guess, and they can never guess where I'm from.
Yeah.
I've had Argentina, Brazil, Russia, France, so many different places. And it's a guessing game, and I love it. But that's what I love about diversity. That's what I love about living in the U.S. We're a melting pot of cultures. Doesn't matter what color you are, where you're from, what your background is, whatever. We're all just standing here trying to make a life and move forward and make sure our children and our families thrive. And I'm so excited for this podcast. And I can't wait to talk more and more and more. There's plenty to say.
So much to say.
Bueno. Ciao.
From the mountain air to the island breeze, we're finding the grace in the in-between, where the order meets the flow